Hello everybody, this is my video in astrophysics number 31. So, well, as you can see, my native language is French, therefore I will try to speak the best English I can. And something else, I am not a professional translator, so I produce the best translation I can with my French text with a translator then. And something else, I have to follow a text so that I don't forget important details. And for those who find my video without going through my website, let me introduce myself. My name as a self-taught and multidisciplinary scientist is Gilles Lauzon-Urtubise, and I am the owner of the First Human multiintelligence.com site on your left side then. As you know, the title of my video is Spacetime, Does This Concept Exist? Well, this concept doesn't exist for me, but even if it is considerably appealing or very nice then, and very interesting, but unfortunately it doesn't exist. But unfortunately I am forced to reject it for a number of reasons that equates to the immeasurable number of objects in the universe. So for a number that is so immense that it is incalculable on the one hand, and on the other hand, because right now we are unable to measure the immense dimension of the universe. Then on other hands, objects do not need to be supported from below, because below then there is no gravitational attractive force to draw them down. And more various information in astrophysics is available on my website right there then. So according to my result of self-taught studies, which are largely in astrophysics and a little in chemistry of 5 years and 8 months, and during which I have managed to invent and or produce between 50 and 100 or more theories in astrophysics. These studies have led me to invent and or produce a sufficient quantities of theories to successfully decode the functioning of the universe on a macroscopic scale, and to succeed in explaining the origin of all objects in the universe, as well as their mode of formation, their mode of operation after they form, and the circumstances or condition that led to one or the other of different possible death of all the objects of the universe, and many other things specific to each type of objects, but that I will only reveal after following my pattern for my extraordinary spaceship. And in conclusion of this text, this part of text, the concept of space-time can in no circumstances be useful for the functioning of the universe on a macroscopic scale. So, this is a further evidence of a complete misunderstanding of how the universe works on a macroscopic scale on the part of all other astrophysicists before me, because they have immense difficulty and complexities to overcome before all the other astrophysicists before me can begin to decode little by little how all the objects in the universe work. to after then be able to start forming different theories until they become satisfactory and agree with each other. And after this, and then to be able to start producing sufficient quantities of theories that can all be complementary until they manage to explain how the universe works from A to Z, or almost until proven otherwise, so as to achieve the same level of explanation as all of my theories of my imposing model theory of how the universe works on a macroscopic scale. Then, for me, it is very easy to understand why no one before me had any chance to achieve such an intellectual feat. Otherwise, all of my theories that go into my imposing model theory of how the universe works on a macroscopic scale, there are none of them that can be called a theory of one or more accommodating magical thought, or accommodating mathematical magical thoughts like gravitational singularity, which doesn't exist at all, and any other accommodating magical thinking. Then, because all of my theories are based on one or more relationship of physical cause to physical effect and nothing else. Then, in conclusion of this part of text, my intellectual and humanitarian ambition and my responsibility as a multidisciplinary and self-taught scientist and humanist is to advance the knowledge of the humanity. Plus, it's to form a website or a social network which it was the best protective social network of all time then, and which is used to protect all members of the society, plus to protect the environment by giving them some ideas, some practice, some behavior, some kind of behavior that could help to save the environment much as possible, and to protect too all the animals in the nature, because by protecting them we are also protecting us. And a multitude of system tools that can protect a nice person against a bad person or a bad behavior from other person then. And a lots of system tools that can help individual, they have bad comportment, to change them to become a better person then. And a lot of system tools that it's used to promote peace in the public and at every level of the society. So because the peace is very important for our future of our son, of our child then. And a lot of system tools, they explain properly democracy, because democracy is so important for our future. And the term impossible is a term that I will never respect, and as long as I am sufficiently in good physical, intellectual, and mental condition. Something else. I need help to start forming a small research center in astrophysics, physics, particle physics, chemistry, biology, and medicine too, in a form of PPP. So for those who do not know the term PPP, it means public and private partnership in an enterprise and in a company. So, because thereafter I intend to buy back the government investment and ultimately becomes the sole owner of my research center. So I need a slow start that will allow me to be able to stay in control of the investment until I can become independent enough to buy it out. So from the start of my research center must begin with hiring a science writer and a volunteer groups of students and one or more science professor who would serve as my review committee to correct if it's necessary, but I think it's always necessary to make little adjustment in the way to finalize all of my scientific articles until they are as perfect as possible, so that the participant of the group of students and some professor, they would serve as training towards new notion of astrophysics, which aim to correct false notion of the universe, or in other cases where there is currently no astrophysical explanation for this or that phenomenon of how the universe works on a macroscopic scale. In addition, and if possible, I intend to form a scientific journal at my name, because apart from most of the measurements that are made from Earth powerful telescope relative to the approximate volume of object or other rough measurement, then I accept, because all of those measurements, they do the best way they can, and I respect those works, because they measure some object, they are so far away from us, so of course I have to accept their measurement, and because it's reasonable to accept them. But in other parts, most of the theories produced to try to partially explain the functioning of the universe on a macroscopic scale, lots of them, they are erroneous or no existent. So from my part, I have a huge wall of little bricks, which all of those are theories that fit into my imposing mother theory of how the universe works on a macroscopic scale, and which are used to explain from A to Z, or almost. I said almost because by now I think I know all the objects of the universe, but only in the case then we still discover a new object then we doesn't know by now. I should find a way to explain it very fast then, from A to Z, his behavior and a lot of things that I can explain. So which are used to explain from A to Z the origin of all objects of the universe, as well as their mode of formation and to their mode of functioning, and the circumstances or condition which led to one or the other different possible deaths, and many other things specific to each type of objects, but that I will reveal only after following my pattern for my extraordinary spaceship. On other hand, and about a year after the start of my self-taught study in astrophysics, which began in early February 2000, and with only my knowledge from my school, my pretty far away school, then when I invent without realizing it at the time, but the day after, I realized to invent an exceptional first generation device that is capable of producing my first alien gravitational technology. From that point, I found it extremely fortunate that I had to continue working alone because of the pattern that I had to continue to keep in secret. Because for the last 6 years and 2 months or so, I have been forced to work alone, but now that is no longer the case, because I have completed all the parts that contain my invention in astrophysics and my invention in physical mechanics for the construction of my extraordinary spaceship of the first generation, as well as those of my exceptional first generation device, which is capable after some times of producing, well, my 3 extraterrestrial gravitational technology. In the meantime, it may be possible for me to decide to patent my exceptional generation device, which is capable of producing much more easier the 10 extraterrestrial gravitational for my extraordinary spaceship of the 3rd generation. And to conclude this part of the text, if I had been able to work for the last 6 years and 2 months with collaborators from a research center, I will certainly have invented and produced a lot more new things then. So thank you for viewing my video, and welcome to see my next video, which will reveal my opinion on another pretty complex subjects of the universe. So thank you, goodbye.